Hey guys, welcome back. We are on week 2 of our new series of just um, life situations and what to do in the midst of those. Last week we talked about forgiveness and bitterness and resentment, and
Yeah.
this week we're going to just talk about that wilderness season, waiting on God for something, wondering if He's there with you. Um, yeah, just being in that wilderness and what it looks like and how to get through it, and
Yeah.
just continue to stay hopeful
Yeah.
um, for when you're out of it.
Mhm.
And we've all been in it. If you're not, you will be in it some point in
Yeah.
your life. But
Be prepared.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm just excited to be here and just dig in. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the first thing that came to mind when we started talking about that, is, the sermon that pastor talked
yeah,
about. We did a Revive night at our
yeah.
home church,
Oh, so good.
and it was really good. We had, worship and different messages, and we had this one pastor, and he was saying that pruning is so important
Mm,
in our walk with Christ, and, what that looks like is, whether that's losing your job, whether that's going through a health scare, whether that's just feeling just so lost and confused.
yeah.
Like God uses those things to just strengthen our walk with Him and allows us to rely on Him so much more than we ever would have without those seasons. And
Yeah.
because sometimes it's easy for us just to kind of, leave God when we're not necessarily really needing Him,
Yep.
because He was saying, for an example, you have this health scare and you're like, okay, God, what's
Yep.
going on? Then he's like, okay, got your attention.
Yep.
Lean on me, rely on me. And so
Yeah.
I feel like God sometimes allows us to go through those wilderness seasons to shift our focus back on
Yep.
him and be convicted like, Lord, I should not just be coming to you when I'm going through these things. I should be firm in you and following you no matter what season of life I'm in. And just remember that, no matter what, he's using those moments to prune us
Yeah.
and to allow us to just grow in our
Yeah.
in our faith and in our spirit. So yeah.
Yeah, that was like a very convicting message
Yeah, for
to
sure.
me specifically because
Yeah.
I've been in this
Yeah.
wilderness season for a couple
Mhm.
years now, and mine has been my health.
Mhm.
Just like weird, I don't even need to go into it, but just weird health issues with like out explanation, every specialist, every test, just
Mhm.
weird health
Yeah.
issues. And it has been scary,
Mhm.
but it's gotten me to this place where I've never needed or wanted God
More,
more. And it's
yeah.
like sad to say that it like
Yeah.
took this to get there because I've
Mhm.
always loved the Lord, but like, was he my priority? Was
Mhm.
I pursuing him and depending on him and trusting
Yeah.
him and um just like laying myself at his feet like
Right.
the way that I am now? Absolutely not. Like I thought I was doing fine. Like you go to church,
Yeah.
you worship,
Mhm.
you do all of the things on the checklist, but like was I really truly abiding in him? And then he
Right.
talked about that too. Or was I just doing the surface level things that have no depth or volume or it doesn't even allow you to
Yeah.
grow because you're not even close enough to him to hear what he has to say
Mhm.
and what he's trying
Mhm.
to do in you. And so
Exactly.
I've had to get to this place like where now I'm like, I just want as much Jesus as I can
Mhm.
get. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but everything. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
we're there. We're
We're
there.
going.
Like I just want to be in his presence
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
All I want is to hear him.
Mhm.
And I was even praying the other night and that was like one thing like I heard him tell me was like and I even have someone tell me like we often pray at God,
Mhm. Mm.
but we're not like praying to God, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like we're
Yeah.
praying at him, but like are we taking the time to like have a conversation and listen back
Right.
and just I was at the place where I was just asking for the healing and
Mhm.
asking for these things
Mhm.
instead of like wanting more of the healer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
asking for the healer to like
Mhm.
make himself known in my life and present in my life and just to encounter him in new ways and then even saying like, okay, Lord, like do whatever you need to do and grow me
Right.
however you need to grow me because I don't want to be in this wilderness season longer than I have to.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't want to be in it for 40 years like
Yeah. Yeah.
like because I'm
Scary.
complaining or groaning or like
Yeah.
uh not remembering all the good things he is doing. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, whatever this season is for, just do what you need to do.
Right.
Help teach me what I need to learn
Mhm.
and continue to like grow and deepen my dependence on
On you,
you.
for
And
sure.
and I love how he was saying how like oftentimes when you're in this season, it's so easy to feel like, Lord, where are you in
Mhm.
this? Because I've asked that many
Mhm.
times. Like, when I'm in the very thick of it and feeling like my heart's in this rhythm and I feel like I'm gonna die, I'm like, "God, where are you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you allowing this to happen?"
Right.
And the pastor was saying how, like, when you're pruning a tree,
Mhm.
you're right next to the tree.
Yeah.
You have to be up close and personal to it.
That was good.
And man, like, that hit me so hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's right there. And
Mhm.
when the enemy tries to tell you that he's not, he's a
Mhm.
liar. Oh, I don't know why that thumbs up just came up. I'm gonna keep my hands down because I talk with my hands a lot. Um, but he's right there, and he always has been, and he always will be.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to hold on to that in those hard seasons and shift our perspective from like, God, why am I going through this? To like,
Mhm.
what are you trying to teach
Teach me.
me?
Yeah.
What are you trying to
Mhm.
prune in me? What are you trying to build in me? What is the end goal and the outcome going to be
Right.
from this? And whatever it is, I'm just going to trust you in it
Mhm.
and trust your perfect will for my life because you know so much better than
Mhm.
I do. I want it in my timing, but obviously if it hasn't happened yet, there's still more that he's trying to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Which is why, like, perspective is so important in those,
Mhm.
seasons, because it's so easy to be like, "Woe is me," like,
Yep.
in those seasons, like, life is terrible, God is not
Mhm.
near me. But I think it's so important to have, the faith like Job did,
Mhm.
when God allowed the devil
Yeah.
to take
Yes.
so much away from him because
Yep.
he knew
He knew
that
he'd be
Job would,
faithful.
yeah,
Yeah.
he knew that Job would be faithful and would not forsake him. And so I
Mhm.
think it's so cool, and just using, like, that story as a reminder that, no matter what we go through,
Mhm.
no matter what we face, like, God is still there, and we need to have this perspective that God is faithful and his words stand true, and his love endures forever, no
Mhm.
matter what we may go through. So I think it's just important in remembering and holding fast onto what is true, and that's Jesus.
Yep.
Um,
And
so
letting the enemy know, like,
yeah,
no, you're not gonna get
yeah,
me to
you
turn my
have no
back on the
authority.
Lord. No
Yeah.
matter what
Mhm.
comes my way, I'm still going to follow him and
Yeah.
believe in his plan for my
Mhm.
life.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think that's important to, like, let the enemy know that you have no authority over me, and, put him
Mhm.
back in his place, because
Mhm.
especially in those seasons, like you said, he will try to
Oh,
make
yeah.
you believe that
Like,
because
where
you're
is your
going through
God
this,
now?
like, God's not near you. God,
Mhm.
has left you. But I think it's just important to remember, you know, that he is near to those that he prunes.
Yeah.
And I also just think I'm not sure what verse this is, but it talks about how, like, a father disciplines
Yeah.
his child.
Yeah.
Not saying they're being disciplined when we're going through these seasons, but
Yeah.
it's like a season of where, like, we kind of are disciplined in our faith,
Mhm.
where we're, like, really having to rely on God, or really having to lean on God.
Yeah.
And so we know that, okay, like, the Lord is allowing me to go through this because he is my father and I am his child,
Yep.
and he wants me to learn these things, or
Yep.
do these things, or
Yep.
grow in these things for our benefit.
Yeah.
And so just, like, switching that mindset and that perspective, knowing I have a loving
Mhm.
father
Mhm.
who's walking alongside me through this, and I may not see the end of the story, but he does. And I know that the ending and the outcome is so much more beautiful than I could have ever imagined, and so much beautiful because I have gone through this thing.
Yep.
And so I just think it's important that we, keep that mindset. It's definitely easier said than done, because, like, I couldn't imagine, going through all of these health things and health scares, and how hard it is to, like, remain faithful, especially with been, like, what, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's the light at the end of the tunnel, Lord? Like,
Mhm.
it's been so long. And so I just think it's really important that we, you know, just keep that mindset strong, easy, even though it's
It's
hard,
hard.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that, like, we also forget that we see things with, like, tunnel vision,
Yeah.
and the Lord sees things from, like, a whole
Mhm.
grand perspective.
Yeah.
He sees
The
all
full
of it from the
picture.
beginning, the end, the middle, everything. And so, like, for people who are facing, like, a loss at a job, or a position change, or a business that had to close down, or, like, something and a door that God is closing, and you feel like angry, like, God, why did you do that? But you honestly, we don't know what he was protecting us
Exactly.
from.
Exactly.
And we have to, like, believe that if he allowed those things to happen, even though it doesn't feel good, and us walking through it, it's hard, and
Mhm.
we don't know what the end result is
Yeah.
gonna look like. He does, and
Mhm.
he has good plans for
Exactly.
us. we don't always know. And we might
Yeah.
not even see it in this lifetime,
Yeah,
like, what the
exactly.
reason
Like,
for it
why do
was.
they go through that?
Yeah, but just
Yeah,
having that, like, trust and dependency on him, like,
yeah,
okay, there's something, there's a reason
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And again, like, perspective is everything. I think
Mhm.
I've had to get to this place of having a different perspective because people are probably, because my what I eat is very, very, very affected. Like, I've had to give up a lot of foods and a lot of things I love. Like, food now for me is not, like, necessarily enjoyable to eat,
Yeah,
it's just to get nutrients, right?
yeah,
So, um, I people are always like, "Oh my gosh, I feel sorry for you. You can't eat this, and you can't eat that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that." And it is a bummer. There is times I'll
yeah.
look over at their plate and be like, I'm, like,
No.
really sad right now that I cannot eat that, and I cannot wait till one day I can
Yeah,
take a big bite of pizza again or eat some
yeah,
nachos or something, or a piece of cake, something.
yeah.
But I have to always remind myself that, like, it could always
You
be
were
worse.
yeah,
And there is people that are in a longer and harder season of waiting
yeah,
and wilderness season than I am in.
yeah.
And if I focus on what I do have instead of what I don't have,
Mhm.
then I won't become bitter or
Yeah,
angry with God.
yeah, for sure.
Because if I sit there and stew on, like, all of the things that have
Mhm.
been taken away or all of the things I can't do and lose perspective of what I can, you begin to have, like, ungratefulness. You begin to become angry, resentful, whatever, and then you blame God because he could change it, right? If he
Mhm.
really wanted to and he was ready to, he could change it,
Yeah,
right? And when no one else can, he's the only one you can depend on to do it. But if I look at it from, like, man, at least I get to eat because there's people who
mhm.
don't.
Yeah,
At least I can function and walk and see and hear and think, and I have a sound mind. Like, all of these things that other people can't do.
mhm.
I'm breathing, I'm talking, I'm, like, with my children, with my family.
Yeah,
And there's so many people who are in a much harder wilderness season than me. And so I think just making sure that we're finding and taking every bit of good thing we can and amplifying that
yeah.
and focusing on that and letting that become what we really, like, put our energy into
Mhm.
versus, like, focusing on, like, the bad things, and let those be dimmed.
Yeah,
I think it just helps you so much more and gives you, like, a more hopeful, expectant heart and again, your heart towards God and in that wilderness season,
mhm.
because a lot of people get bitter and angry
Yeah,
and don't
yeah,
understand. But if you don't even allow it to even start from the beginning, then the longer you're in it, the easier it's going to be to
mhm.
continue to stay with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
perspective.
I also think it's so important to remember that, like, we're not called to go through our wilderness seasons alone.
Yeah.
Like, community is so important, and it's so
Yeah.
important that we are showing up for our brothers and sisters in Christ
Mhm.
and, like, leaning on one another in those wilderness seasons because there's so much, wisdom and perspectives that you can gain from others or um, being able just to have the strength to not go through it alone or, understand that, someone may have been in the same situation that you have been in. And so I feel like it's really cool to see that, as a body in Christ, that we can come together
Mm.
and walk with each other in these wilderness seasons and not have to, do it alone.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool as well, and it makes it easier too.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause sometimes it could just seem so like you just feel like the only person in the world
Going
going
through
through
it.
it. Yeah,
Mhm.
because you're going through it alone.
And you're never gonna
We're
get
not
out of it.
exactly,
Yeah.
but we're not meant to go through this life alone. So I think it's important that we, in those seasons, you know,
Mhm.
switch that perspective also, but also get involved in community and
Yeah.
really lean on one another, like, in those seasons as well.
Well, I just had this, like, vision come to mind of, like,
Mhm,
if you're in a desert with a friend
mhm,
and you have water and they don't,
mhm,
and
mhm.
they're thirsty
Yeah,
and they're suffering while you guys are walking through the wilderness
mhm.
together, are you not gonna give them some of your
Yeah,
water?
yeah, that's
Like,
a
it's the
great way to
same
put it.
thing, like, we all have something to give
Mhm,
somebody else,
yeah.
and if you see somebody struggling or suffering, are you really gonna just keep it all to yourself and
Right,
not
yeah.
give them
Give them
some of
some
the
water?
water?
Yeah,
And it's the same way, like,
that's good.
just giving them anything, your
Yeah,
time, a listening
yeah,
ear, prayer, like
yeah,
praying
for
for
sure.
people, praying with people,
Yeah,
and then sharing your testimony. Because if you're on the other side of if you're on the mountaintop and
mhm,
just came out of the wilderness, people in the wilderness need to see that there is, like, light at the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you got out of this, and this is
Yeah.
where you're at now, so, like, I could be there one
Mhm.
day, because you do
Yeah.
need a little bit of hope in it
For
too,
sure.
but
Yeah.
it is really hard to wait on God, and it's because
Mhm.
we don't understand it,
Mm-mm.
we see stories in the Bible of people who, just asked and they received their healing right away.
Mhm.
There's people who were in wilderness seasons and didn't. There's people who never received it. So it's like not knowing where you're going to be at that in that
Yeah.
spectrum. Like, is it going to be in 1 week? Is it going to be in 1 month? Is it going to
Yeah.
be 10 years? Is it going to be in eternity? Like, we
Yeah.
just don't
We don't know.
know. And I think that waiting on God and the unknown is so hard for us
Mhm.
because we are such people of control. We want
Yeah.
to be in control of
Yeah.
our life. When you aren't in control, you kind of spiral a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but realizing that, like, our life is really in the hands of, like, the creator of the universe,
Right.
and he loves us,
Right.
and he has great plans for us, even if they don't feel great in
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
There's still something
Mhm.
great on the other side of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes like being in those wilderness seasons kind of just like also like sits us down, like makes us
Yes.
realize like, okay, Lord, like
Slows you down
slows
too.
you down. Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
Lord, like you are the King of Kings, the Lord of
Yeah.
Lords. Like, I'm just your disciple. I'm here
Yeah.
to follow your will.
Mm.
Like, I am not a God. I have no control over my
Yep.
life. Like, you
It
have
can be taken
control.
away
It
from
could be
me
taken like
like
that
that.
quick. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like,
Everything.
mm-hmm.
Everything I have can be gone.
And so, yeah. And so I feel like God uses that too, like to
Mhm.
remind you of your place. I have given everything to you and I can take it away
Yeah. It
just as
reminds you,
quick.
like, who God
Who
is.
God is. Yeah.
You are not God
You are not God.
of your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like those wilderness seasons also teach you that as well, which just kind of points to why a wilderness season is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Even
we're
though
all
it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like sometimes I know I hear people are like, "Things are just going way too good right now."
Mm-hmm.
So I have this anxiety and this anticipation
Mm-hmm.
for the thing that's going to come.
Yeah.
Like, I hear people say that all
Yeah.
the time. But I think, like, being prepared for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to make these deposits for wilderness season by prayer and fasting
Right.
and all of it, and just spending time with God and having that relationship with him. So
Mm-hmm.
when we are going through the hills and valleys, um, our faith in him does not
With
shift.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
change because we know no matter what season we're in,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to remain faithful in
Right.
it, and he's going to be with us in it. And he's going to see us through it. And so we need to be making those deposits by
Yeah.
spending time with him and know, like we talked about on our very first series, of like our identity in him, like who he is
Yeah.
and whose we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole perspective makes
Yeah.
a huge difference of how you get through the hills and the valleys.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy on the mountaintop. We don't need God on the
Yeah.
mountaintop. We feel
Yeah.
like everything's going good, and
Mm-hmm.
we a lot of times think that we take credit for where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're at where we're
Mm-hmm.
at because of us,
Yeah.
but God's like, "Mm-mm.
Yeah. I put you there, but I
I
can bring you
put you there, and
down.
I can take it away real
Yeah.
quick,"
Yeah.
and we don't know what he's protecting us from
Mm-hmm.
sometimes at the end of the day.
Mhm. I also think it's important to remember too that like we don't serve a malicious God either, because like you were saying, like we may think like, okay, well life's going so good now, like what is
Yeah.
God gonna throw at me now? Like why doesn't He want it just to stay good? And I don't think God. That I know God doesn't think that way.
Mm-mm.
I know that He loves us. We are His
Yeah.
children, and I think it's like you said, it's out of His love that He wants to disciple us, and
Yep.
discipline us.
And grow
And
us.
grow us and strengthen us and because he wants to see us in eternity. He wants us
Mhm.
to be in his home and be in the body of Christ. So I think it's just remembering the character of God too,
Mhm.
having a good perspective
Yeah.
also, but also remembering the true character of Jesus,
Yeah.
and that is love and kindness and forgiveness and faithfulness,
Yeah.
and not letting our foundation like waver at
Yep.
all in those seasons, and just knowing that like he's doing those things because he wants you to be on that mountaintop.
Yeah.
He's not bringing you down just so you can stay down forever,
Yep.
because he wants you to be on that mountaintop maybe for a longer time. Maybe he
Yeah.
took that job away from you
Yeah.
so you're down from the mountaintop, you're in the valley, but he took that job away because he has a better job that'll
Yep.
keep you
And
on
you
that
wouldn't
mountain.
have even looked for it if he
Mm-hmm.
didn't take it away from you.
Exactly. To be back on that mountaintop for
Yeah.
longer and reap the benefits of
Yeah.
a job that is so much better for you.
Yeah.
And even if that's not the case,
Mhm.
God is still who he says he is, and he's still
Mhm.
a good God, and he's not a malicious God. And so I think it's just so important to remember, have that perspective, but also remember the genuine character of Christ
Yeah.
and not forget that or think the opposite. Because
Mhm.
it's so easy for the enemy to try to sneak in those little lies
Yep.
and make us believe that he's not with us and that he does not want what's best for us. And that could be that's the farthest from the truth. So
Yeah.
it's just important to remember
I
his
actually
character.
I actually saw the funniest, like, video on social media, and it was talking about how, like, don't listen to the song Refiner
Mhm.
because,
Oh, because you
like,
will be tried
because
by
you
fire.
and they were like, "Whatever you do, do not
Yeah.
listen to the song
I've
and
seen
don't
that
sing
too.
along it
I've seen
because"
that too. This girl's like, what everyone was singing it around her, and she was like, not singing
I'm
it.
not
I
singing
was like,
it
oh,
because we don't want it, right? We
yeah,
don't want what comes through. We want what's on the other side of it. We
yeah,
want the benefit of the
hmm,
refining, but we don't want to be refined.
yeah,
And so I think, and that's what the wilderness season is
yeah,
those refining. And like you said, that pastor was talking about was the pruning and
mm-hmm,
the building and the growing and the dependency. And sometimes we have to be brought really low to be lifted high
yeah,
because at our low, sometimes it takes us being at our lowest to realize our dependency
yeah,
on God because it's
yeah,
the only place we'll realize that it's all about Him.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, I was someone who like followed Him and, you know, like I was in Bible college, like trying
mm-hmm,
to pursue
yeah,
Him and
yeah,
have this career and women's ministry and all these women lead women's ministry and all these things. And so I thought I was doing everything right, but I think that my dependency was not really on Him
yeah,
the way that He wanted it to be.
yeah,
And so whatever He's teaching me, I just want to learn it
right,
and then hopefully I can use it to bless somebody
mm-hmm,
else who's in the wilderness
right,
season.
exactly,
But just remembering like God has not left us, even if He's silent. But I think sometimes when we're in this wilderness season, He's really not silent. We're just not taking the time to listen.
mm-hmm,
And maybe He's speaking to us in a different way.
for sure,
And maybe He is being silent. Like, I don't know, maybe He's
yeah,
like, are you still going to trust me when you don't hear from me the way that you
mm-hmm,
used to?
mm-hmm,
Are you still gonna trust me when you don't feel my presence the way that you
right.
used to? What is that song? If one word is the only word you speak, then I've heard it all,
Oh, what a
whatever.
God, yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh,
love that
like
song.
that's convicting
Mm-hmm,
too. Like,
yeah,
because it's true. Like if that's the only word you hear, like it's still enough.
yeah, yeah,
But sometimes we're like, oh, I want to hear you the same way that I
mm-hmm,
did 10 years ago.
yeah,
Or so I think just you just have to just remember to depend on Him and trust that His plan for
yeah,
us is good no matter what
yeah,
season that
that we're in,
we're in. Yeah.
yeah. That's really good. Is what if it's God's plan for you not to be healed?
Yeah.
Like
Are
that's
you gonna be okay with that?
that's
Yeah.
a tough pill to swallow, but
Yeah.
it's really just looking at your heart.
Mhm.
Like, is it postured to God's
Mhm.
will, whatever that
Yeah.
looks like? And so I think
Ooh,
it's
that's a
just,
hard one to swallow.
yeah,
That's a
I know. And I didn't mean to say that because, like, are you? But like,
no,
what
but
if, like,
I mean, there's people who aren't. They're
who aren't
healed
healed?
on the other side
Yeah,
of people who
exactly. Like,
deal with
keep.
autoimmune
Mm-hmm.
diseases until they, for 30, 40
Mm-hmm.
years, and God never healed them, but like
Earthly side,
earthly side.
but
But that's the thing is like we should still do what He's called us to do no
right,
matter what season we're in.
right,
So even though you're in the wilderness season, we're still called to disciple.
mm-hmm,
We're still called to love
for sure.
people. We're still called to be obedient. We're still
Mm-hmm.
called to follow Him and remain faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And so our lives are still being used
Mm-hmm.
even if we're struggling.
Exactly.
Like He's still using us to advance His kingdom and for a bigger purpose. And so, like you said, like, how is our heart posture towards
Yeah.
His will for our
Mhm.
life? When we say, like, your will be done, do we really mean
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes your will be done means longer wilderness seasons than we
Yeah.
would hope or plan for
Mhm.
ourselves,
Yeah. A will that we didn't sign up for.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have to obey and we have to listen. I think it's just being okay with that. And I know like the unknown is so scary.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. I'm like, okay, like what could
What
my
is
wilderness
this?
season look
Yeah.
like, And so, but I also just think it's so important not to have a heart of fear,
Mhm.
or a mind of fear. That's not of God. And so I just think
Yeah.
it's important
That's the
knowing that,
enemy.
yeah, that's the enemy for sure, trying to scare you. But I just think it's important to remember that no matter what that looks like,
Mhm.
he's pruning right next to me.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
don't have to be
And just
fearful.
having faith too and
Mhm.
believing and praying. Like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
still
yeah.
never stop praying and believing for
Yeah.
your miracle
Mhm.
because sometimes your faith is what heals
Mhm.
you,
Exactly.
you know?
And I always, like, remember the verse in my head, but I can never say it, where it was like praying to God without faith
Yep.
means nothing.
Yep.
Like, how are you gonna pray to God and not have a true, genuine faith that this could come to pass,
Mhm.
that you could be healed, that you could get this job, things like that. Doesn't mean like just because, well, Lord, I had faith that you could do it, doesn't mean you're going to get it. But
Yes.
having a genuine heart that says, Lord, I know if this is what you have for me, it will
It
happen.
will
And
happen.
having a prayer life that is just truly built on and stands firm on the truth of Jesus.
Mhm.
And I think that's just really important, and not to like lack in your faith in God.
Yeah.
Even though like we've talked about, it's easy, especially in those
Yeah.
seasons, but I just think it's so important that our perspective, our heart posture, and our faith
Mhm.
are just, the three things that we need to really
Yeah.
focus on in and out of those seasons.
Yes, even out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because out of those seasons, like you said, like you want to make those deposits to be prepared for
Yeah.
those wilderness seasons. Be like,
Mhm.
well, I'm in a wilderness, but I know
But
who God
God's gonna
is,
see
but
me
God's
through.
going to see me through.
Yeah.
I know God's will is good. I know that
Mhm.
I can have a perspective on, just focusing on the Lord and trusting in Him. And I know that my faith will stand firm in you alone. So I just think in any season, it's
Mhm.
important. But I think we need those reminders more
Yeah.
in the wilderness season because it can be hard. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, so just like want to encourage you guys that if you're in the wilderness season to just
Yeah.
trust who God is and who he says he
Yeah.
is and just have faith and know that he is still with you in it even though you may not feel it
Mm-hmm.
or see it the way you expect to.
Yeah.
And if you're on that mountaintop or that, hillside,
Mm-hmm.
be there for those who are in the wilderness
Yeah.
and just be people of encouragement and continuing to make those deposits.
Mhm.
So if your wilderness season comes, which, again, it's hills and valleys, we just know how to navigate life through
Yeah.
it and in it and still be a light to people who are in it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think the last point, and I was just waiting for this thought to come back because I had it and then I lost it. So I was like, "What did it come back?" But I think we often forget, and it's
Mhm.
important
Yeah.
not to forget what God has already done,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because then we lose hope of what He can
Can't
do
do it.
again.
Yeah.
And so we just need to remember
Mhm.
God's done it before. He's the
He
same
can do
God
it again.
yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He can do it again.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good reminder. It's a good way to end it off.
Yeah.
Don't forget
Thank you
that.
guys. Don't forget
Don't
it.
forget
We
it.
hope you have a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye.